President Biden sending a powerful message to ring out this year. He's showing his accomplishments, and it doesn't even have to be spoken. The contrast to Donald Trump, President Biden showing what a dignified statesman did to actually help the country, in contrast to Donald Trump and the threats that he poses. President Biden showing what it means to be bottom up and middle out, contrasted with Donald Trump's pledge just to help oligarchs and perhaps trickle the breadcrumbs down to we the people. Take a look at what President Biden's posting in contrast to what Donald Trump is posting. And then I have a broader point that's so critical that we hear. President Biden posts the following on his Instagram: "Getting to show up for the American people every day is the best part of my job. Here's a look back at the past year." It's President Biden smiling and visiting the factories that he opened as part of his manufacturing boom from the Infrastructure Act, the Inflation Reduction Act, the CHIPS Act. We're talking about close to 50,000 new infrastructure projects going up across the country, from roads to bridges to airports, you name it. President Biden posting photos with factory workers, although I wonder if all of these factory workers actually voted for him, because they seemed, and I'm not saying these people here, they seem to be enthralled more by issues over the San Jose State volleyball player, whether the player was transgender or not, instead of their wages, the strength of their union, having the National Labor Relations Board to file grievances in front of overtime working conditions. But I digress right there. President Biden posts, "American entrepreneurs have filed more than 20 million new business applications since 2021, the most in any single presidential term in history." But wait a minute, y'all told me that it was supposed to be the GOP that was good for entrepreneurship. No, that ship has sailed. They're not supporting new entrepreneurs. They want to support the billionaires and oligarchs who have the 1,000-foot yachts, who are already entrenched in their power, not help new businesses start. President Biden posts, "America invented semiconductors, but when President Biden took office," this is the White House account, "the U.S. produced only 10% of the world's supply. Thanks to the CHIPS and Science Act, we've catalyzed hundreds of billions of dollars in private sector investment and are finally bringing U.S. semiconductor manufacturing and innovation back." The White House posts, "When President Biden took office, he was determined not only to deliver economic relief, but to invest in America and grow the economy from the middle out and bottom up, and not the top down. Over the last 4 years, that's exactly what he's done. His economic agenda has attracted over $1 trillion in announced private sector investment in clean energy and manufacturing. These investments are ensuring the future is made in America by American workers, and they're creating opportunities in communities too often left behind. Today, businesses around the world are investing in America because of President Biden's agenda, which is good news for American workers and American businesses. We're positioned to win the economic competition for the 21st century." Notice what he says. We're positioned to. The handoff, we've done our job in the Biden administration. But I know corporate media was so focused on all the ageism crap or all of the Trump drama, instead of focusing on what President Biden actually delivered. Promises made and promises delivered. President Biden posts, "I promised to make sure that higher education was a ticket to the middle class, not a barrier to opportunity. Because of our actions, nearly 5 million Americans now have the breathing room to pursue life plans they had to put on hold because of the burden of student loan debt." He posts, "I gave my word to the American people that as long as I was president, Social Security and Medicare would be protected. I'm proud to have kept that promise." And here's another post, "Getting to show up for the American people every day is the best part of my job." And here's a look back at the past year right there. On the other hand, you've got Donald Trump with Vanilla Ice partying at Mar-a-Lago. You've got Donald Trump reposting culty messages like "God bless President-elect Donald J. Trump" and "God bless the United States of America." Then he responds, "Thank you, DJT." You've got Donald Trump now posting about the 2020 election. Think about that. It's 2024. His inauguration is going to be soon. He's whining about the 2020 election, and he's posting, Trump got elected 3 times. There's no way you know how Joe Biden got 81 million votes. You also have Donald Trump making posts like this against E. Jean Carroll, who prevailed in her sexual assault civil lawsuit against Donald Trump. A jury found that Donald Trump sexually assaulted E. Jean Carroll. And Trump posts a photo of her. Should a woman go to jail for falsely accusing a man of rape? By the way, that's why ABC was so utterly cowardly for what they did in settling, because in my view, it was actually throwing E. Jean Carroll and sexual assault victims under the bus. But you could have your opinion. That's just my opinion right there. Donald Trump is also making posts like this where it seems like he's sending text messages to Elon Musk, who's pulling his puppet strings, but he's posting it on his social media platform about Bill Gates. And he goes, where are you? When are you coming to the center of the universe? Mar-a-Lago. Bill Gates asked to come tonight. We miss you and X. New Year's Eve is going to be amazing. DJT. Now, I want to share this with you, and I want to compare and contrast right here. So the moment President Biden took office, you remember the headlines like this: forecast for U.S. recession within a year hits 100%. That was the headline that Bloomberg and all these business journals were reporting. Then they reported why a U.S. recession is still likely and coming soon. There was no recession. President Biden guided the country out of that through sound fiscal policy and through investment in America, by America, for America. Notice the headlines they give Donald Trump, even as the stock market's looking pretty shaky and weak, even as mortgage rates are up, even as your 401k's probably already taken a little bit of a hit since Trump's been in office, even though egg prices are up, consumer prices are up, as a result of Trump's tariff threats and as a result of Trump's bloody mass deportation threats. So these same reporters now frame the issue like this for Donald Trump. The probability of a U.S. recession in 2025 is 0%, according to a top economist. So you find one guy to say that, you make that your headline, all the while you were tainting Biden with hypothetical crap, but you give Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt based on Biden's economy, even though if you actually look at all the market indicators right now, these stocks are so over-levered. Their valuations are way higher than they should be based on what their revenue and EBITDA is. But, you know, find one economist to say that and give Donald Trump that narrative. Also, I'm not sure if you saw over the weekend, you probably didn't, because why would you be watching corporate media? But this is one of the things that they were saying on Face the Nation on CBS. They were having a reporter on. They're like, what's the most underreported story of 2024? And here's what she says. Here, play this clip.
One of the things we also do in the year-end correspondence roundtable is dig into what was undercovered or underreported. Jan?
Undercovered, underreported. That would be, to me, Joe Biden's obvious cognitive decline that became undeniable in the televised debate.
At the presidential debate with Donald Trump.
Unquestioned. And, you know, it's starting to emerge now that his advisors kind of managed his limitations. It's been reported in the Wall Street Journal for 4 years. And yet he insisted that he could still run for president. We should have much more forcefully questioned whether he was fit for office for another 4 years, which could have led to a primary for the Democrats. It could have changed the scope of the entire election. Yet still, incredibly, we read in the Washington Post that his advisors are saying that he regrets that he dropped out of the race. You know, that he thinks he could have beaten Trump. And I think that is either delusional or they're gaslighting.
President Biden has said repeatedly he was sick during the debate June 27th in Atlanta, and he's always been fine, and he leaves fine. That is his position, the position of many of his top aides as well, even though there is that reporting.
Robert Costa.
The journal interview.
I'm not going to show you the rest of it, just the first 20 or so seconds of it. But they're still going after Biden cognitive decline, Biden this, Biden cognitive decline. I interviewed President Biden for 30 minutes, 30 straight minutes, which I put the 30 minutes up on YouTube. So you can see the interview I did with President Biden. Okay? Sure, you want to say President Biden is older? Is President Biden over 80? Does he speak a little bit slower than he did? Does the speaking slower accentuate perhaps his stutter? Sure. But watch that 30 minutes and you go after Biden for cognitive issues while Donald Trump is out there making posts about how he claims he won in 2020, threatening to invade nations, how Donald Trump is out there looking like he has some real symptoms of some serious mental issues, at least in my opinion and the opinion of some notable doctors out there who have said things like that. I mean, you give Donald Trump the pass on all these things, and you're still, even right now, attacking President Biden. I'll leave you all with, well, let me show you this contrast. CNN, this is how they do it. So CNN brings on Democratic Congressmember Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And they ask her as though, like, America should invade Panama and Greenland. Like, watch how CNN frames this question. So we all know that Donald Trump's negotiation style is all about tough and being strong. And Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Democratic Congressman, watch her face. She's like, the hell kind of question is this? Here, watch this.
You may not like his style or approach to diplomacy, but if he does successfully, I don't know, push China back or scare them off with regard to influence in the Americas, could this threat be worth angering Panama's government, in your view?
It is utterly preposterous to suggest that we are going to send our military into Panama to, quote, take back the Panama Canal. As I said, we have a treaty with Panama. We have a free trade agreement with Panama. We are no more going to take back the Panama Canal than Panama is going to come in and try to take the Mississippi River from us. We have to have rational, balanced diplomacy.
Finally, let me close this out with a small portion of the interview I did with President Biden where I asked him what his legacy was. Let's play it.
Final question. When history is all told, how do you want to be remembered? What do you want your legacy to be?
I kept my word that when I said I was going to do something, I did. And that my focus has always been about how to give ordinary people a shot. You probably heard me say it before. My dad used to say, Joey, your job's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay, and mean it. It's about being able to be yourself and focus on people who need some help. And the vast majority of the American people, all they want is a chance. Just a chance, and they'll do fine.
You see hope?
I do.
There you have it, folks. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million subscribers.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.